The new set is getting released in less than 24 hours. If you didn't have time to play PvE, I will help you to understand what comps are gonna be good in the new set. In this video I'm gonna show you what boards should you play, when you should play them, itemization for every board, level 8 comps, reroll comps, and conditional comps, because some of these boards cannot be played unless you have a certain condition met. The first comp we're gonna talk about is Ahri 9.5. When it comes to items, you want Sojin, GG, and Striker. You want Ahri to be able to crit with her damage because she gets AP anyway from Spellweaver. So with GG and Striker, you can like multiply that and you get more damage out. If you do not have these items, you can do double Nashor and GG as well. You want to understand that the most important item on her is GG because you want her damage to crit, and you want some sources of mana if possible. So Nashor, Blue Buff, Sojin, it's fine, but I would say stay with these items because it's way better. When it comes to tech items, anything is fine. Be flexible with this. Don't really think about it that much. Just understand that Sunfire, Ionic Spark, not tank items, alright? So when I'm saying tech items, it's like Gargoyle, Bramble, Declaw, Warmux, Animal Visage. So these are tank items. And on Ashe, you want to play around with like Sojin, Red, Blast Whisper, DB, IE. Ashe is not going to have like perfect items because it's kind of hard to make items for her. You care about Ahri items and then set. But the bread and butter of this comp, it's actually how we get there, because getting to level 9, this set is going to be a bit more difficult. We're going to talk about that later in the video. But here is what you do. You need to understand what the level 8 board can be. And I'm going to make a special video for Ahri later, but I'm going to give you like the tease for today so you understand how it works, alright? So, when you go level 8, the bread and butter of this comp are the next units. Karma, Zyra, Sivir, Ahri, Yorick, and Vi, alright? 6 units. At level 8, your duty is to find the most cheap frontline that you can have, and it's upgraded. So for example, you hit set 2, and then of course the best unit would be Gnar because it gives you brawler, so you get more HP. Gnar is very good, it's a beast of a unit, you get a lot of CC. If you do not have Gnar, but you have set 2, just replace Gnar with Krag, amazing. If you do not hit set 2, and you roll at level 8, maybe you hit Malphite 2, right? Good, very good unit. Malphite, and you play Azir. Azir gives you summoners, so for example, let's say that maybe you don't have severe items, right? You have Sojin red buff that can be used on Zyra as well. She can be the secondary carry, right? And the third one, if you didn't hit Malphite or if you didn't hit set, you can play around 4 Juggernauts with a Mumu. So it's very simple to not low roll at level 8. You just need to be careful to not be very greedy and be like, oh, I don't have my set 2, right? So play around these like 3 boards and you'll do amazing. The main idea with the comp of Ahri that you need to understand is that she's doing a lot of damage, alright? But sometimes there are some units that are 1 HP. You want a secondary carry that can clean that up. So it's gonna be either Zyra, or it's gonna be Sivir with Executioner for primals, or of course if you go level 9 it's gonna be Ashe. The second board we're gonna talk about, it's Nidalee Flex. Very popular comp, it's very simple to play as well. You wanna play around Nidalee and Morgana as secondary carry. On Nidalee you want JG, you want Striker, and the most important item, you want Rage Blade. It can be replaced with a red buff, but is not as good. So I would rather have a Rage Blade, a score item, and then replace the other 2 items. Deathcap is fine, Giant Slayer is fine, Archangel is alright, but I would rather put it on Morgana. On Morgana, you want items that help your Nidalee do more damage. So for example, Void, Morello, then you can put like Sojin, Adaptive, Deathcap. You can put these items also, but she's not the main carry, so don't greed for her items. Also, I know that some people will be like, oh, you have Kog'Maw, you don't need Shred. It's not enough. Make voice stuff if you have extra items. Tank items go on Sentinel. His best in slot, it's Protector Vow and Adaptive. If you play set 17, it's very similar with Nunu. If you play set 16, it's similar with Swain. Alright, so same itemization. But if you do not have Adaptive or Protector, just make any tank items, it's completely fine. The third board we're gonna talk about, it's Morgana Cashout. Why is it called like that? Usually you play it from Coven, but you don't really have to, you can still play it without it. But the idea is that Coven, it's a bit different from Anima. This season, it gives you just rewards that are either gold, units, or items. No special rewards, no crazy new items. So that means, for example, you have some cash outs that can give you Morgana 2, that can give you more money, so you have more resources in the lobby. That means at level 8 you have more money, so you can hit more units, right? This is the first board that you can play. You play Morgana, Brambleback, and Sentinel. Again, on Morgana you want Morello, Voice Staff, Deathcap, but you can make any AP items. And the secondary carry, it's usually the Brambleback. QSS is amazing on him, Edge of Night is amazing, and then you want any damage item. Sterak is fine, Titans is fine, so don't think that, oh, I just need Giga Beast. Morgana items are more important, make anything AD on Brambleback, good to go. And frontline items is the same, as we talk in the board above. Why am I showing you here two boards? Very simple. People think that this Morgana camp can be played only with 4 Vanguards, alright? You shouldn't think like that this set, because there's a lot of synergies that can work together. So for example, if you don't have 4 Vanguards, you can play 2 Juggernauts, alright? This is exactly what I'm showing you. So for example here, you have Sentinel, Diana, Taric and Hekai. 4 Vanguards. Great front line. But maybe I didn't hit that. Maybe I hit an Amumu too, right? Because Sentinel is a very contested unit. So in that case, for example, you can do some replacements, right? Especially if you hit like units like a Loon as well, like it can give you even more. But we're gonna talk about frontline, right? So you play Amumu Scuttle, right? You replace the Pebbles, you play less Invokers, but you get the frontline that you miss. At level 8, you need to be very flexible with the frontline. Don't be greedy to like play, only 4 Vanguards, only 4 Juggernauts. Oh, I don't have this. Be sure that you like try to play something else as well. Also here, when you have this Scuttle Sentinel, right? You can try to put the Alpha Mark on Scuttle as well, especially if you do not have Sentinel 2 and maybe you have a Mugu 2. Because the Scuttle Crab buff from the Reef Beast, amazing. Aphelios Vanguards, probably the favorite camp of everyone. I saw this camp so many times, played from some very weird spots, but the camp is very simple to play, alright? Again, frontline items on Sentinel. Aphelios items though. Here is a bit different. Aphelios has a kit that likes attack speed, in theory, but it was kinda bad. So I did some changes, and now attack speed on him is fine, right? So you want a Rage Blade, Giant Slayer, Kraken, I would say this is best in slot. But if you have, for example, a red buff, that's very good also. If you have Dead Blade, that's fine also. So I would say the combination on him is like an attack speed item, so Rage Blade or red buff, and then any damage item. It's more important to hit all of these units to start than to have like Giga Astro Beast on Aphelios, alright? Brambleback, same idea with the items, can be Giant Slayer, can be Sterak. Again here, you can replace 4 Vanguards with better units. The main idea is that you want to play around Aphelios, 3 Reef Beast, and just any frontline that you have. Also, Zyra can be Morgana later. Bunch of flexibility, you just need to hit the board, alright? It's gonna be very contested, just letting you know. Next board, Soraka Malphite. I really don't understand why some people think this board is bad. I don't think it is. I don't think you win games with it. You don't win games with Aphelios either. But I think this board is very good. Malphite is extremely tanky. Soraka is a very good unit that can deal a lot of single target damage because of her ability. So it's pretty good. But there's a problem. People do not know how to make items on Soraka. So I'm gonna give you some small tips. 1. Soraka is an executioner. That means JG is not very important. Why? Because executioner already allows your spell to crit. So JG is pretty bad, alright? Don't make it. Second, Soraka loves double mana items. What are the mana items? Adaptive, Nashor, Blue Buff, Soju, right? Now, these combinations, some of them are better, some of them are worse, right? Nashor Adaptive, it's amazing, probably best in slot, because Soraka can get even more mana sources from the Flora Fatalis, and that's what Adaptive does, right? And you have other combinations as well, like Soju Nashor, maybe some Blue Nashor as well. So, main idea, you want like double mana items and something that actually has damage. So that cap is the best. Archangel, it's fine. Striker is alright. Don't make JG, right? Not JG. If you make JG early, because you have maybe a Karma 2, and you made like Sojin JG, keep in mind that you need more items because that JG is gonna end up on Zyra. Malphite like just Gargoyle because he's gonna sit frontline and any tank items. At level 9, you add Cannon for more executioners. Call it a day, top 4, get out. Those were the level 8 boards, so let's move to the reroll boards. Caitlyn reroll is probably the best because there's no conditions for her. You can play her from any spot as long as you have the right items. So you want a Rage Blade and double Kraken, that's best in slot. But you can replace a Kraken with like Giant Slayer, Dead Blade, IE, it's completely fine. The main tank is gonna be Scuttle Crab. You put any tank items with Gargoyle and it's completely fine. If you hit Sejuani 3 before Scuttle Crab, move items to Sejuani. Leftover items can go on Tristana, but if you have Severe 2 and you have Tristana 2, you move items to Severe. Very important, this camp can and is played with Vanguard's frontline as well, with Elise. But Elise got nerfed a few times, so it's not very good. I would consider playing Vanguard's reroll if I have maybe like, I don't know, worth the weight with Elise, or if I have a Vanguard emblem. Without these two conditions, I will not touch it. The Scuttle Crab variation is way better. I don't really like Kayle reroll, I don't think it's that good. But I think you can play it in some conditions. First of all, I think making items for Xayah, it's maybe a bit better than make items for Kayle, because you're gonna hit Xayah 3 before Kayle. So making, for example, like Rage Blade, the red buff, it's way better than making like Rage Blade JG, especially if you're close of Xayah 3. Then, Let's go to conditions. First of all, there are two ways you can play this. You can play it when you hit 8 champions 3-star and you probably win the game, or the default when you need 5 champions 3-star and you get the bonuses from 5 solars. So to do that, you either need Prismatic Ticket, right? Or you need Curse Crown at 2-1. Curse Crown with Kayle actually might be the tech, but it's kinda risky. I'm not gonna lie, it's kinda risky. Anyway, when it goes to items, Xayah wants any attack speed, so Rage Blade, Kraken, Red Buff, anything is fine. Kayle wants Rage Blade, JG, and Striker, and one gets any frontline items. I'm saying that this is a Xayah camp because I would play this camp only have Xayah 2 and Or 2. Because I kinda wanna win stage 2, because stage 3 is kinda difficult. Especially because you can get your bench locked. Like you have way too many units that you need to hit, and you don't hit your upgrades. So for example, I saw some people playing this with Pandora's bench. Not very good, okay? You have too many things on your bench, too many to transform. I will stay away from K reroll. I don't think it's that good. But if you guys have the conditions for it, you can give it a shot. Unrivaled Rengar, I think it's extremely good, but I think people play it a bit incorrectly. First of all, to play this, you need the augment called Unrivaled, where you can play Rengar and Kha'Zix both on the same board, and both get like takedowns and they evolve. Good. Second, you should play this when you can have a win streak. Usually with Rengar and Kha'Zix at 2-1, you can win because your units are more expensive, so usually you are stronger than the enemy. But if you have no items to slam, your board is gonna be way weaker. And also, the best way to play this camp is actually when you have a Rengar as the main carry, because Rengar does more takedowns, so you get more gold, so you have more gold to hit your units. So if you play around Kha'Zix early, it might be fine, but you might suffer a bit later. When it comes to items, you want Edge of Night on both of them, you want Titan's Rage Blade on Rengar, because he actually does a lot of basic attacks, so it's not bad. I saw some builds with like Ahri, Hajj, or Deadblade. It's fine, not as good. With Kha'Zix, you want Hand of Justice, Deathcap, and Edge of Night. No JG because he's gonna be an Executioner later, and this is actually where people make some mistakes. So when you have Kha'Zix as the secondary carry, you need to think exactly how you wanna like evolve your spells. For those that don't know, Kha'Zix with a number of takedowns, he gets a new spell, alright? So he can be like a Spell Weaver, he can be like an Executioner, stuff like that. Not a spell trade, sorry. Now, if your Kha'Zix is not the main carry, the way you want to go is that you make Kha'Zix a Ravager, because that buffs your entire team, so you get more Omnivan for Rengar. Then you make him an Executioner, because most likely you have the items ready for your Rengar and some for Kha'Zix. And then you can make him a Rapid because it buffs your team, more attack speed to Rengar. Good. If he is the main carry, then you can change that. You can make him first an Executioner or Spellweaver, depends on what you have, and then you can do the rest. Small note on this camp, I know the position looks a bit weird, but the idea is that Hecarim is extremely strong, so everyone's gonna focus him, and the Rengar and Kha'Zix is not gonna get jumped, so you're not gonna like lose the Edge of Night. That doesn't mean you cannot position normally with Rengar and Kha'Zix frontline, especially when you have them like 2-star. So don't get fooled by this positioning, do it later when you have everything upgraded. Hecarim 3 is the beast. Mastery Reroll, another camp that I think it needs more juice to work. You can see here the best in slot items, and you can make him work if you have enough money, but you should play this if you have Brawler Emblem, and then you can play around like vertical brawlers, or if you have artifacts. Artifacts that are good on him, there's a lot of them, but here are the best. RFC, Wit's End, Flicker Blade, and Hellfire Hatchet. With this, he's actually a beast, but without them, he is not very strong. When it comes to items, Rage Blade, Edge of Night Titans, and of course you replace like Titans with one of those from above. Leftover AP items can go on Kog'Maw or Nidalee, and tank items can go on Vi. Vi is a bit contested, so for example, if you can go for Krog 3-star, you should put items on Krogs, maybe play around for Brawlers, it's completely fine. Very important here, if you have Nidalee 2-star with items, you want to go for Executional Primal, right? Because it helps your entire team, you do more damage, good. If you don't have it, because maybe you don't have enough money, maybe it's contested, then when you put Primals in, you want to actually use the Healing Primal, because that helps your team way more. I love Tristana reroll, but without Fae +1, this camp is like way weaker, so I would only play it with Emblem. When it comes to items, Rage Blade, Gunblade, and GS are actually best in slot. I was a bit surprised about this itemization, because I was like, what is the damage? But then, I read what Fae does. And if you look at Fae, it's gonna tell you that based on the healing you do as well, you get the pixies that you deal more damage, you get more gold. So actually this Gunblade not only keeps your frontline alive, but also helps your Fae to stack faster. Any leftover items can go on Severe, tank items can go on Vi, on Ramos, it depends on whichever you hit 3-star, and that's completely fine. Now, here is a trick with primals as well. if you have severe like very early, so let's say that you roll a bit at 3-2 and you have a severe early, you can go for the extra components, right? If you do not have it early, but you have like items on her, so for example, you go level 7 and you hit like Tristana 3, severe 2, you go for Executioner, because you want to help your entire team. But if you do not have any extra items, because there are some games where you get like only 6 items until stage 5, then you can go for healing again. So be sure that you pick the right primal for your team. Veigar reroll, it's not as good as you think, he's actually pretty bad. Biggest mistake people do is that some of them like open fort and they don't really kill unit stage 2, but that's kind of bad. Veigar has an ability where he says that if you kill the unit, you get 1 permanent AP. So if you do not kill anything stage 2, it's kind of bad. When it comes to items, you want Bluva, JG, and then you want one of the artifacts, but if you want to hard for this, Striker is fine as well. I wouldn't try it. Tank items can go on Rek'Sai. If you have Kobuko 3-star, of course you go items on him first, but Rek'Sai 3 it's way better, so you should play around that. And then you play around 5 Sprikins, and that's pretty much the board. Level 8, you want to play Gnar over like Tristana or Teemo. You don't win games, alright? You just play it because you want to have some fun, and you just don't win games. If you have one of the artifacts and you actually stack a lot of AP, you can win games because Veigar is actually very good, like single target. He can do a lot of damage with one cast, but you need a lot of AP stacked, alright? So do not play this without one of the conditions. Now the question is, yo, Grim, what are the level 9 boards? Are they really that bad? Yes and no. First of all, you need to understand the mechanic of the set. It's called Wisp, gives you effects when you buy it. Cool. But they cost money. So if you see this Wisp more often and you spend more money, level 2, 3, 4, 5, that means it's way harder for you to go level 9. The second problem is that in this set, compared to the last set, you don't have a 5 cost that it's a true carry at 1 star. So for example, last set you had Vex that the moment you hit 1 star and you have the best in slot and you have enough frontline, you can kill some units. Maybe you don't win the fights, but you can kill some units and it gives you enough time to hit the rest of your board. But here in this set, they are not as strong. So you play these boards only if you are like 80 HP at stage 4, you have economy augments, you giga win streak. But even so, I will tell you the bread and butter of these comps, alright? So let's talk about the first one, Draven 9-5. He wants attack speed. If you do not have Rage Blade or Red Buff on him, he's not very good. Any AD items are fine after that, so Kraken, Last Whisper, Deadblade, IE, Giant Slayer, everything is fine. He's a beast of a unit. The moment you hit him 2-star, he's amazing. When it comes to frontline, you have Alistar, Taric, Amumu, Maokai, and Gnar. You have like 2 brawlers with Alistar and Gnar. You get Taric without Vanguard. I know you'll be like, oh, where's my Vanguard? You don't need it. The passive of Taric is just insane. And then you have Juggernauts with Amumu and Maokai. Here, you see that Maokai has items. Very important, never put items on this guy unless you either get him very early, right? So, stage 4, if you get him early and you win streak, sure. But the main tank is usually a Mumu until you hit Maokai 2-star or Maokai has enough HP stacked. Maokai is a very bad unit as the main tank unless 2-starred and he has the passive stacked. It's like the old Zac where you get like blobs, is the same. But if you hit him 2-star and he has enough stacks, a beast of a unit. Cannon, the fire rat is just like still broken. He's amazing. Do not sweat the items on him. Just put anything. And Gnar is a beast. Gnar is just probably my favorite unit of the set. He jumps in the back line, does a lot of CC, stuns everyone, grabs someone, throws them away. Amazing unit. Alright? With Draven, very important. We're gonna make a video on that later. But very important, pick quests that are around like dealing damage or stuff like that. Do not take something with takedowns. Those are kind of hard to get. Main idea, take money quest, not item quest if you don't have your board upgrade. Good. Dragon 9-5 is the other board you can play. You play around the Elder Dragon and around Ashe as the double carries, if you want to call it. The main idea is that Elder Dragon goes in the sky, comes back, does the fire breath, and he can execute units, and Ashe can reach backline, so they can Ashe can get like the unit slow, and just the dragon executes. That's the main idea behind it. And of course, you combine that with like more frontline CC, cannon backline, severe, ricochets going in the backline. Some very important stuff here. Dragon is a very interesting unit. Itemization on him, I think people, maybe it's not the best, but the main idea with him is that you want damage item, you want something to help him cast fast, and you want something to make him like kind of tanky, because he's very slow, very slow. So Sterak, DB, and QSS, I think are very good, but you can make like full crit item, like with IE Haj. Don't really like it, but can be done. You can put red buff on him, that's completely fine as well. And when it comes to Ashe, Ashe got changed also from the first patch. She's doing a lot of like HP damage, right? So the main idea is that she can melt front lines a bit easier now. Giant Slayer is fine, Sojin is fine, red buff can be good, because you don't have anti-heal till level 9, right? DB is fine, IE is alright. The items are just like flexible. You want to go there and like go in level 9 and just hit your upgrades, right? When it comes to frontline, we play around Sentinel and Amumu as main tanks, because Amumu can stun left side and Sentinel can stun right side. And then you just add Tari because he's an amazing unit, and Cannon just for like more AoE damage to help the dragon execute and stuff like that. I don't think this board is very good. I think it's alright. I think it can work. But I don't think you should make the plan around this unless you have like a lot of resources. Because again, Elden Dragon and Ashe 1-star are not good enough. So be careful when you play this. I'm gonna test all these camps tomorrow on stream because I'm playing the Box challenge. So if you guys have questions or if you want to see how the board goes, I'm waiting for you there.